Imagine a hotel where not all guests checked out. Imagine having to recall 31 million bottles of painkillers. Imagine sharing a dance with a beautiful young lady, only for her to completely vanish while still in your warm embrace. Welcome, curious souls, to Weird Rewind. Today, we plunge into the heart of Chicago, a city renowned for its soaring skyscrapers, deep dish pizza, and a past riddled with tales that are as compelling as they are dark. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you know about any of these fascinating stories or feel we're missing something out, let us know in the comments below. Let's start at the very beginning, with a fire that reshaped an entire city. Fact number 1, the Great Chicago Fire's mystery. The Great Chicago Fire, a cataclysmic event, began its deadly dance in the small O'Leary barn and rapidly devoured the city's predominantly wooden structures. Rumored to have begun due to a cow knocking over a lantern, over the course of 3 relentless days, the fire rampaged across 2,000 acres, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. It obliterated over 17,400 structures, caused an estimated $200 million in damages, which is the equivalent to about $5 billion today, and tragically took approximately 300 lives. But perhaps the most staggering statistic of all was the displacement it caused. Nearly 1/3 of Chicago's 300,000 residents were left homeless, their lives upended overnight. As the city smoldered, a spirit of resilience emerged from the ashes. Chicagoans, undeterred by the scale of their loss, immediately began to rebuild. The aftermath saw stringent fire codes and a push for fire-resistant materials, setting the stage for an architectural revolution. The city's skyline was soon dotted with structures embodying the latest in safety and design, including the birth of the skyscraper. This rebirth forged a new Chicago. Fact number 2, the haunting of Resurrection Mary. For decades, the tale of Resurrection Mary has woven itself into the very fabric of Chicago's folklore, becoming one of the most enduring and chilling ghost stories in the city's history. The legend tells of a young woman, striking in appearance, dressed in a flowing white gown, hitchhiking along Archer Avenue. Numerous eyewitness accounts since the 1930s have perpetuated her story, each adding a hauntingly similar detail to the narrative. She is often reported to be picked up by unsuspecting drivers near the Resurrection Cemetery, only to then disappear into thin air or to leave the vehicle near the cemetery gates. Detailed accounts also describe her dancing with living partners at local ballrooms, where she allegedly spent her last evening. The stories often end with her vanishing, leaving her dance partner bewildered and searching for answers. These repeated encounters have led to numerous investigations and speculation about her identity, with some believing she is just a spirit of a young woman named Mary Bregovy, who died in a car accident in the 1930s. Despite the many theories and tales, no one has conclusively identified Resurrection Mary, nor has any single account been universally accepted. What remains is the allure of the mystery and the undeniable impact of her legend on local culture. Fact number 3, America's first serial killer. The story of H.H. Holmes is a dark chapter in the annals of American criminal history, a narrative so sinister and complex it seems almost the stuff of nightmares. Arriving in Chicago in 1886, Holmes was a man of charm and ambition. But beneath the charismatic exterior lurked a mind twisted by malevolent desires. He constructed what would become infamously known as the Murder Castle, a 3-story building designed as a labyrinth of death. Equipped with soundproof rooms, gas chambers, trapdoors, and chutes leading to a basement where he could dispose of his victims' bodies. Holmes capitalized on the influx of visitors to the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, luring many to their doom with the promise of lodging or employment. His methods were varied and gruesome, with victims succumbing to asphyxiation, dissection, or other unspeakable fates. When police eventually uncovered the grim reality of his hotel, the nation was left in shock. Holmes's trial in 1895 was a spectacle of horror and fascination, culminating in his confession to 27 murders, though some speculate the actual number may be over 200. The murder castle itself became a morbid attraction before its eventual demolition in 1938, its very foundations seeming to seep with the echoes of the lost and the damned. Holmes's execution by hanging in 1896 did very little to close the chapter on his reign of terror. Instead, it immortalized him as America's archetypal serial killer, a grim pioneer in a macabre gallery of criminal infamy that continues to horrify the world over. Fact number 4. Chicago's Forgotten Tragedy. On a warm summer morning in July 1915, the SS Eastland, otherwise known as the Speed Queen of the Great Lakes, was packed with over 2,500 passengers, mostly employees and their families from the Western Electric Company. They were anticipating a day of festivities at a company picnic in Michigan City. However, tragedy struck even before the ship left its mooring on the Chicago River. Due to serious design flaws and severe overcrowding, the ship capsized, plunging into the river's murky waters. In mere minutes, a scene of joy turned into one of the most horrific maritime disasters in American history. The final toll was heart-wrenching. 844 people lost their lives, many of whom were women and children. The disaster was so sudden that many victims were found still within the ship, trapped and unable to escape the rapid influx of water. The city was left reeling, and the nation watched in horror as the details of the calamity unfolded. Investigations following the disaster revealed glaring issues with the ship's design and modifications that made it top-heavy and unstable. Moreover, life-saving regulations were found to be inadequately enforced, contributing to the high death toll. The public outcry was immense, leading to sweeping reforms in maritime safety laws and regulations, including mandatory lifeboat drills and stricter passenger limits. Fact number 5. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre. February 14, 1929 marked a bloody chapter in the history books of American crime, known infamously as the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. On this cold Chicago morning, 7 men associated with the George Moran's North Side Gang were systematically gunned down in a garage on North Clark Street. 2 of the 4 hitmen were reportedly dressed as police officers. The brutality and precision of the attack sent shockwaves through the nation and became a symbol of the violent struggle for control in the Prohibition-era underworld. The massacre was believed to be orchestrated by none other than Al Capone, the notorious South Side gang leader, as a motive to eliminate Moran, his fierce rival. However, the plan went awry. Moran escaped, and the massacre instead claimed the lives of 7 of his men. The public was horrified by the carnage. Blood-soaked bodies lined against a wall, riddled with bullets. The grim scene was one of the most gruesome displays of gangland violence ever witnessed. The outrage that followed led to an unprecedented crackdown on organized crime. The federal government spurred into action and formed a special unit to target gangsters and their operations. This unit, led by Elliot Ness and known as the Untouchables, became legendary for their fearless and relentless pursuit of Capone and his empire. The massacre thus marked the beginning of the end for the notorious gangster. Capone was eventually convicted for tax evasion and sentenced to prison in 1931. Yet, despite the high-profile nature of the crime, no one was ever convicted for the murders, and the St. Valentine's Day Massacre remains one of the most notorious unsolved crimes in U.S. history. The garage where the massacre occurred became a morbid tourist attraction until it was demolished in 1967. Fact number 6. The Tylenol murders and the killer uncaught. In the fall of 1982, the city of Chicago became the epicenter of nationwide panic. This would forever change the face of the pharmaceutical industry. The crisis began when 7 unsuspecting individuals took Tylenol, laced with lethal cyanide. As the news spread, authorities quickly linked the deaths to cyanide-tainted capsules. The manufacturer, Johnson & Johnson, in an unprecedented response, recalled 31 million bottles of Tylenol nationwide, amounting to over $100 million in losses. The investigation, involving the FBI, local police, and the Food and Drug Administration, was one of the most extensive in criminal history. Despite the scrutiny, the identity of the perpetrator remained elusive, leading to widespread speculation and fear. The Tylenol murders led to immediate and lasting changes in the packaging of over-the-counter substances. This measure, now a taken-for-granted aspect for product safety, was a direct response to the horror of these murders. Fact number 7. The Iroquois Theater Fire. December 30, 1903 marked one of the darkest days in Chicago's history. The Iroquois Theater, a grand and opulent venue touted as absolutely fireproof, was filled with over 1,700 patrons, many of whom were children enjoying a matinee performance of Mr. Bluebeard. The holiday season's joy turned into unimaginable horror as a stage light short-circuited, quickly igniting a fire that would rapidly engulf the theater. Despite the theater's fireproof claims, inadequate safety measures, including a lack of sprinklers, non-functional fire escapes, and locked exit doors, led to a catastrophic loss of life. In less than 20 minutes, the fire claimed the lives of over 600 individuals, making it the deadliest single-building fire in American history. The tragedy's aftermath revealed a chilling narrative of both negligence and corruption. Safety inspections had been completely overlooked, and warnings ignored in favor of aesthetics and profit. The public outcry was immense, and grief-stricken Chicago demanded justice and change. News of the Iroquois Theater fire extended nationwide as cities across the country revamped their fire safety codes to prevent such a tragedy from ever occurring again. Memorials for the victims and annual commemorations keep the memory of the tragedy alive, serving as a somber reminder of the fire's human cost. Fact number 8. The ghostly echoes of Hull House. Nestled in the bustling streets of Chicago's near West Side, Hull House stands as a monument to social reform and a beacon of hope to many. Founded in 1889 by Jane Addams, the settlement house provided aid to thousands of immigrants. However, beyond its noble legacy, Hull House harbors a more spectral reputation. The house is said to be home to various spirits, with numerous accounts of ghostly encounters and unexplained phenomena. The most famous of these tales is the chilling story of the Devil Baby. Legend has it that a deformed child, born with horns and a tail, was brought to Hull House by superstitious locals. Despite Jane Addams' attempts to debunk this story, the tale took on a life of its own, drawing curiosity seekers and ghost hunters alike. The Devil Baby became a symbol of the immigrant struggles and superstitions in the area. But the Devil Baby isn't the only ghost said to roam the halls of Hull House. Visitors and staff have reported mysterious footsteps, vanishing figures, and inexplicable cold spots throughout the building. Whether these eerie events are echoes of the past or mere stories, Hull House undeniably holds a mysterious aura. Fact number 9. John Wayne Gacy, the Killer Clown. John Wayne Gacy's name evokes horror and disbelief, a stark reminder of the evil that can lurk beneath a seemingly normal facade. Known in his community as a successful contractor and an active volunteer, even sometimes performing as Pogo the Clown at children's parties. Gacy's monstrous alter ego was hidden from public eye until the fateful winter of 1978. His arrest unveiled a series of horrific crimes that shocked the nation. The brutal murders of 33 young men and boys between 1972 and 1978, making him one of America's most prolific serial killers. Operating from his suburban Chicago home, Gacy lured his victims with the promises of construction jobs, only to trap, torture, and murder them. The discovery of 26 bodies in the crawl space beneath his house, along with others found discarded in nearby rivers, unraveled a tale of terror that defied comprehension. Gacy's trial in 1980 was a national spectacle, revealing his chilling detachment and lack of remorse for his heinous acts. Gacy's psychological profile, a disturbing mix of charm and brutality, has been studied extensively, providing valuable insights into the mind of a serial killer. Despite his execution in 1994, the fascination with his case endures a grim reminder of the harrowing potential within humanity. Fact number 10. The Chicago River's reversal. In a bold move that reshaped its future, Chicago undertook one of the most ambitious engineering projects of the 19th century, reversing the flow of the Chicago River. Initiated in 1900, this Herculean effort was driven by a pressing public health crisis. The river, which was at the time heavily polluted by the city's burgeoning population and its industries, was contaminating the city's primary drinking water source, Lake Michigan. The solution? Reverse the river's flow, sending the pollution downstream and away from the lake. The reversal was achieved by constructing a series of canal locks and modifying the river's bed, an endeavor that took years of planning and labor. The result was a feat of engineering that drastically improved the city's sanitation and health, virtually eradicating waterborne diseases like cholera and typhoid. However, this victory over nature was not without its consequences. The alteration of the river's natural flow dramatically impacted ecosystems both locally and hundreds of miles away. As the polluted waters made their way down the Mississippi, they affected fish populations, water quality, and sediment patterns all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. As we close this chapter of Weird Rewind, we leave behind the shadowed streets and whispered secrets of Chicago's past. Thank you for joining us on this journey through both time and terror. Each place we explore, every tale we tell offers a window into the complexities of human nature and the intricate tapestry of our shared history. So as you walk the streets of your city or ponder the mysteries of places far away, remember to keep questioning the past to understand the present.